All right, so in line with my man Black Broadway was telling me, I felt like I needed to give y'all some more like behind the scenes, kind of like the man behind the videos and everything else. And I realized that I was probably a little bit remiss about, I guess, the intended audience. So you may notice that when I make a lot of my videos, they're just real quick. They're just like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. So the reason for that is all these videos that I make about like my favorite records and stuff like that. I mean, these videos are not really for like the general population. So, I mean, if you're watching them, great. I really appreciate it, but I'm really making these videos for my son. So when he gets older, he can understand when he inherits, my record collection. I want him to understand for every record I own, why this record was important to me. So the intent of this is not to really just go, on a long ramble about each specific record and the production of it and the engineering. More just like a quick boom. When he watches this, I want him to be able to say, oh, why did daddy like this? And he can go and look at that. So first things first, that's why the videos are so short. What type of music do I like? Because I was having this conversation with somebody, and this conversation comes up when you ask somebody, hey, what type of music do you like? And like the weak answer is, oh, I like everything. I listen to everything. And I don't really understand like how you can say that. So for me, when I say what type of music you like, the question really is, what type of music do you buy? Because if you like something, you're going to spend money on it. For example, if you like shoes, you're going to make sure you get that $150, $200 to buy the latest retro J drop or whatever, Balenciaga, whatever you're into. So usually my approach is when somebody asks me what type of music I like, think about it as what type of music do you buy? So think about that. What is the last music that you bought? I'm not talking about streamed on Spotify or Apple Music. What is the last record where you said, you know what? This artist did a lot of good work on here. I want to support this artist by spending $10 or $15. I want them to try to make their money back for the studio time, the production, the digging in the crates and all that. So think about that and look at your purchase history. I mean, if you haven't bought anything, that tells me that basically what you're listening to is trash, right? It's the difference between, I'm listening to something at a party, versus like, I want to buy this music. Even more specifically, physical, right? I'm more into the physical. Like once you actually buy a record or a CD physically, that tells me that you like this enough and feel like this is more of a work of art, so that you want to have this in your home. You want to be able to show this to somebody when they come by your house and say, hey, check this out. It's the difference between looking at the Mona Lisa online versus going to Rome to see it, right? One of them you were a little bit interested in. The other one is like, okay, I'm really, really into that. So if it's not something that I have bought before, I'm really not going to talk about it on this channel because it's trash. I do tend to like, I guess what you could say, old school hip hop, just because that's what it is I grew up on. However, I'm very current. Like I'm, right now, I told y'all before, for people who weren't alive to miss the Wu-Tang era, I mean, this Griselda that's out right now, I mean, this is like the Wu-Tang of y'all's generation. Like, this is not going to come around. This doesn't come around that often. And out of all these dudes, if I had to pick one of these dudes, I'm going to go with Conway. Because this dude, Conway, is just, his dude's thorough. And the audience for stuff that I like is I'm into that grimy stuff. Like, Mobb Deep, Old Dirty Bastard. Because that's to me is the most pure essence of hip hop. Like, hip hop was originated as an answer to like disco, kind of the origins. All this disco dance and stuff was out, and they wanted something that, was more true to, what all was really going on. Not just having fun and dancing and everything else, right? So anything that goes more aligned to traditional, hardcore, grimy, I'm with that. I'm with that. And this dude Conway, I mean, come on, man. Look at the dude. The dude got shot. Look at his face, man. Like, this dude is never gonna be on the cover of some fashion magazine. And he kind of reminds me a lot about Biggie when Biggie came out, because Biggie was kind of like the same way. Biggie to me was like, this is an overweight black Jamaican dude, ridiculous, but like he was still fly. And it's kind of like how I feel with Conway. This dude is like got a disfigured face, Bell's palsy, but the lyrics and the production with Derringer, I mean, I'm trying to tell you, man, I haven't seen anything like that in at least 10 to 15 years. At least 10 to 15 years. Lots of these other dudes, I mean, they good, right? They're good, but it's just like, as far as like the next generation of that grimy stuff, Conway, and again, I mean, you gotta look at the surrounding cast. Oh man, Skyzoo, right? If it wasn't for Skyzoo, I wouldn't even know about Griselda, because I just listened to that Luxury, and I was like, who is this dude, Westside Gunn? And then I went through the whole catalog and found Conway. So, there's certain people who got their ear to what's going on. That's the music you need to listen to. Well, I don't want to say you need to listen to. That's the music that I'm interested in. As like a historian, that's kind of why I just have a taste for music, because I've kind of seen trends come and go, and I know what's going to be here today and what's going to be gone tomorrow. I mean, in general, things could change, but that's kind of like my take on what type of music I like. So ask yourself, what type of music do you like is going to be what type of music that you buy. And I'm gonna limit that to the 25 and up crowd, because 18 to 25, you guys probably broke, right? You still living in your mom's house. Maybe you don't have a job, but I think after you get to be about 25, you should be making a decent enough money to where you can support the art. And make no mistake, like music, hip hop is art, is culture. Part of what you're paying for is the culture, the music, the culture, the fashion, and everything else. And if you're not part of that lifestyle, then you're really just not going to understand that. Like, it's kind of fashionable now for people to dabble into hip hop because it's everywhere. And there's people who are dabbling, and there's people who are like living that life for real. And you got to remember, with me, I kind of grew up in an area where that was reality for me. When we had nothing, when we didn't even have food to eat, we had hip hop music on the radio, and it was somebody talking about also starving and being hungry, right? So it's just very personal to me. It's not really, just a flirtation type of thing. Like, I'm really in the game hard, and I want to make sure that my son understands what it is it means to me and what it meant to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up that topic and go on to my final topic. Now, my final topic I want to talk about is like my process, right? So it goes in line with like music that I like. Usually the process that I follow is, when I get an album, if I'm going to buy the physical, that means I kind of think that this is something that's of high quality. And usually my process is, I try to get, as close to the club experience that I can get, right? So you're never going to hear a Conway album playing in the club. It's just not going to happen. So what I usually do is I go into my listening room, turn the music up loud, I'll kind of have a drink or something like that, listen to the album in its entirety, and then I'll kind of give you an idea of like, my thoughts on it. So I recently did a video where it was basically, I was showing you guys like my live stream for when I was listening to this Retropolitan by Skyzoo and Pete Rock. So first, I like to listen to it at the house, turned up loud, like the way they intended you to, not in some stupid earbuds or something else like that where you don't even get the full sonic experience, but the way that you would hear it in a club. After that, then usually I'll try to put it in the car, because I drive back and forth to work. I'll try to put it in the car. If it's not the car, then I'll put it in the I'll get the digital and listen to it while I'm going for like a walk or something, because things usually sound different in like headphones or a car versus like at home or in the club. So then that'll tell me if I like it overall. But then I can normally pick out my favorites, and then I'm usually to say whether I'm going to say I like this album. So that's my process for reviewing albums. It's not just I'm going to go to SoundCloud, or I'm going to go to Spotify. I'm going to listen to it in my headphones, or I have it on while I'm watching TV or something, and then I'm going to just act like I've listened to it. No, I'm going to review it in multiple scenarios. Like I told you guys, I'm like a fan. I'm a real fan of this music still. Even now, I'm a real fan of this music. It means something to me. So if somebody can take hours and hours and hours out of their life to write the lyrics, to produce it, to master it, to engineer it, to print it, if they can put all that much effort into it so they can give me a product that I want to buy, the least I could do is put a little bit of effort into trying to hear it. And a lot of times, you'll know immediately. You'll know immediately if an album is trash or not. Get to the first 2 tracks, listen to it in that type of setting, and then you'll realize, okay, this is not a keeper, right? A lot of the you hear now is just, it's something to listen to right now, right? There's nothing else on, but I'm ready for the next thing. And then there's other stuff where you're like, yeah, this is going to be part of my collection forever. So that's pretty much it. So in this video, I talked a little bit about the audience, my intended audience, and why it is I'm making these videos. I talked to you about what I think about when I say whether you like music, how I really mean what music do you buy. And I also covered my process for reviewing albums, listening to albums. So hopefully that was useful. If not, that's fine too. Like I said, I ain't going nowhere. I got probably a couple more 100 albums that I need to put out. Do a little video, some snippets for it. I'm gonna try to add some other stuff. I want to really do like a mixtape or something. I want to really get on the boards and kind of put together like a mixtape of some of my favorites. So that might be coming up. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.